So I want to talk about some of these ridiculous coincidences involved in the Charlie Kirk story as it relates to this Snake Eyes movie. But before we get to that, let me play for you a medley of the top results on YouTube right now. If you Google or if you go to the YouTube search Charlie Kirk Snake Eyes or Snake Eyes Charlie Kirk, here's a medley of the top results right now.
The film takes place on September 10th.
When I zoom in, it seems pretty convincing to me that this is indeed a 0. Look at this part of the letter B and the letter R. I'm not sure what font this is, but it's pretty safe to assume that it's self-consistent, and that the indent we see here would be equal to the indent on this number if it were anything else but a 0. So, September the 10th, same date when Charlie got shot.
And that it happened on September 10th in the movie, which is strange, right? Because with Charlie Kirk and his assassination, it happened on September 10th. People were saying it was September 10th, but others are saying it was actually September 19th in the film. So you've got the date is the same, if not very similar.
10 seconds into the movie, there's a pop-up, right? And it's a big sign of when the event takes place in the movie. Guess when it is?
When?
September 10th. The same date!
What the?
Bro!
September 10th. Remember that.
Notice how every single one of them is pushing the idea that the promotion for the fight in Snake Eyes is September 10, which it clearly isn't September 10. It's September 19, maybe 18, but more likely September 19, which would fit with the fact that in 1998, September 19 was a Saturday, which is when fight nights tend to be, maybe Friday, but usually Saturday. Certainly not on a Thursday. But you can just look at it and see it doesn't look like September 10. And yet all of the most popular videos on this topic and the videos that come up if you search for this and the videos that are being recommended to people, they're all pushing September 10. And that's only one part of the misinfo, or is it disinfo, that they're pushing. Now those are the most popular videos at the moment. Here is a couple of the videos that were most popular just a few days ago. They've since been replaced at the top of the search results. But these were the most popular ones just a few days ago.
It's about an event, a live event at Trump Tower, okay, on September 10th. A live event on September 10th at Trump Tower. Here's a picture showing a scene from the movie, Tyler the Executioner, September 10th. You have September 10th in real life. September 10th in the movie.
Oh, and the fight and assassination just happens to be on September 10th, the same exact day.
Again, this September 10 misinfo or disinfo, whichever way you prefer to see it, those people at least had an excuse. They made their videos a few days ago. But the ones that are at the top right now, some of them have been made in the last 24 hours and they're still pushing the September 10 misinfo/disinfo. And the question has to be asked, why? Especially when there are people like Calcified Lies, who is putting out videos that are not full of the misinfo or disinfo about September 10 and this other nonsense, go into way more detail about the connections between the Charlie Kirk incident and Snake Eyes. This dude's video is superior to all of the other stuff combined, and yet his videos only get a few hundred views. And he's been doing this for years. He's been connecting these dots for years and years and years, and his channel has fewer subscribers now than one of these new channels that sprung up a week ago and is getting hundreds of thousands of views. This dude's channel has less subscribers than one of those new channels that just appeared a few days ago. How does that make sense? And by the way, Calcified Lies is no fan of mine. He says that I'm a paid shill or a government operative, or I've somehow been sent to harm him or discredit him or whatever his paranoid delusions are about me and all the other content creators in this corner of the internet. He's no fan of mine. But I'm a fan of his, and I can tell you his video, which I'll link to in the pinned comment below, way better than all of the other videos on this topic combined, and I would know because I've been watching them and taking notes. And I got some good stuff from this guy in his videos, which I've included in the video that I'm putting together for johnlebon.com, which I'll speak about later. But first, let's get back to this. Now, this one you probably already know about. I've got some other stuff you wouldn't have heard about yet. But when it comes to this Charlie Kirk Snake Eyes thing, what are the most obvious or the most blatant connections that people have been speaking about so far? Of course, Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck. I know most of you think that's a fake event. This isn't about whether the event is fake or real. Just the story is he was shot in the neck. And in Snake Eyes, the politician named Charles Kirkland was shot in the neck. Carla Gugino, who was in Snake Eyes. She was right next to Charles Kirkland when he got shot in Snake Eyes. She starred in a film that was released a few months ago called Heads of State. In that film, her name is Elizabeth Kirk, and she is also shot. It's not easy to tell where she was shot, but she does have blood on her neck, and the Cinemorgue fandom site says that she was shot in the neck. Again, it's not as clear in the film if she was shot in the neck, but certainly we see the blood on her neck before she collapses. So in our so-called real life, you've got Charlie Kirk shot in the neck. In Snake Eyes 1998, you've got Charles Kirkland shot in the neck. He's a politician. In Heads of State, released a few months ago, you've got Elizabeth Kirk shot on or near the neck with blood on her neck. She's the vice president in that film. So you've got the connection between the Kirks, the politicians, being shot in the neck, and Carla Gugino, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly, she was in Snake Eyes. She was also in Heads of State, and as many people have pointed out, in Snake Eyes 1998, she seems to be wearing a white jacket with blonde hair, not entirely dissimilar to Erica Kirk at the memorial for Charlie Kirk. This is a collage that I've put together for my presentation for johnlebon.com, which I'll link to in the pinned comment below. You've probably also heard that on the VHS tape, the old cassette, the plastic cassettes that we used to use to watch movies back in the good old days, us boomers, on the VHS of Snake Eyes, you've probably heard that in the trailers that they put on the VHS, which I forgot that was a thing. I forgot that sometimes you would rent a movie and then you'd put the VHS in your VCR and then you would have to fast forward through the promotions, the trailers, the advertisements for other movies. And some people wouldn't even fast forward through them. They would just watch them. It's like, hold on, you've rented this VHS. You didn't rent it to watch promotions for other things. Why aren't you fast forwarding through it? And some people wouldn't.
This is a retard test. You failed a retard test.
Anyway, I forgot that was even a thing. So anyway, on the VHS for Snake Eyes, you might have already heard that one of the trailers before Snake Eyes begins was for a film with a rather suspicious title.
You guys are cool, man. Men on campus. They hate it when you do this. Let me go!
Okay, I'm going to edit most of that trailer out. I didn't realize that it takes so long for them to tell you what is the name of the movie. That trailer's terrible. The movie itself is even worse, and I sat through the entire thing to see what's in there. The things I do for you lovely people, folks, seriously, I went and watched this entire freaking movie to see, is there anything else in there?
John LeBon called it a dirty little secret, and I think that is such a perfect...
But yeah, seriously, it's a terrible film. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're trying to find out how far do these connections go. But don't worry, I've already done all the groundwork for you. I sat through this load of utter nonsense. And that's also included in the presentation at johnlebon.com, which I'll link to in the pinned comment below.
If I have a baby, I'm going to call it JLB.
Anyways, so Dead Man on Campus is promoted in the trailers on the VHS for Snake Eyes. Well, what is promoted in the trailers on the VHS for Dead Man on Campus?
The top animation minds from around the world have collaborated with the top foreign animators from Japan with a budget of over $630 million to bring you the most advanced animation ever seen by the human eye.
I will do the German dance for you. It's fun and gay and tra-la-la. Hope you will enjoy my dance.
Okay, you're still with me. So you've got South Park being promoted as the first trailer on the VHS for Dead Man on Campus. Dead Man on Campus being one of the movies that are promoted in the trailers for the VHS of Snake Eyes. Of course, just a couple of months ago in the second episode of the new season of South Park, they took the piss out of Charlie Kirk by having Cartman play a Kirk wannabe podcaster, progressive, woke, debater, this kind of thing. So you can see there's a bit of a cycle of connections here. Well, anyway, I couldn't help but notice a very conspicuous 9 and 10, as in September 10, in the movie Dead Men on Campus, just as we see a conspicuous 9 and 10 in Snake Eyes. And so I thought to myself, what would happen if I went back and watched Season 9, Episode 10, or Season 10, Episode 9 of South Park? And what I discovered shook me to the depths of my miserable soul. So what I recommend you do if you find these kinds of things interesting is to go back and watch Season 9, Episode 10 or Season 10, Episode 9 of South Park. If you have the patience to sit through it, you might also want to check out Dead Man on Campus, because there's some wild connections in there as well. If you don't have the patience for that, then make sure you go and sign up at johnlebon.com, or if you can't afford the very small entrance fee to johnlebon.com, then at the very least join the free JLB Patreon. I'll put a link to this in the pinned comment below. You join the free Patreon, you get instant access to like a dozen episodes of the clip shows. These all take hours to put together. The feedback's been fantastic. You get instant access, costs you nothing. I put hours and hours of effort in, and you get it all for free if you join the free JLB Patreon. But if you want to see my full presentation about the connections between Charlie Kirk's story and Snake Eyes, then you'll need to be a member of johnlebon.com. And this collage on your screen right here is just one of the many collages I've put together looking at different so-called coincidences, these connections between what we're told is real life and what happens in the films. As I mentioned earlier, what I'll also do is a link to Calcified Lies video, which is the best that I've seen on YouTube by far. And what I want you to do is to let me know in the comment section below. 1, why do you think all of the top videos on this topic over the past few days are pushing this September 10 nonsense? And 2, how do you explain these bizarre coincidences, connections, call them whatever you want? What are some of your favorites? I don't think there's much chance that anybody has found more of the connections than I have over the past few days putting together my presentation. But who knows, you might surprise me. So let me know in the comment section below. And have yourselves a lovely day.
September 10th. September the 10th.
September 10th.
September 10th.
September 10th.
On September 10th. On September 10th. September 10th. You have September 10th. September 10th.
September 10th. The same exact day.
I love you, John LeBon. I do, brother.
I love you too, John LeBon.